Hey VC, Matt here. It's August, and I'm going to show some June 29th St. Louis Record Show finds. So, I stuck to my cheapo budget. Went a little over the $3 range, but these were $3.60 per album on average. So yeah, let's show some records. This is Eric Burton, The Animals with Winds of Change. This is The Animals going full on psychedelic, and really I think Eric Burton was pretty much the only member of the original Animals lineup at this point. Kind of rehashed the group under their moniker with his name in front of them. But no, this is fantastic. Really, really good psych album. Winds of Change is really good. Poem by the Sea is kind of a trippy little song. Their cover of Paint It Black is really good. Have a kind of a poke at Hendrix, not even a poke, just kind of an homage to him with Yes I Am Experienced, kind of in response to the question, of course, are you experienced? But no, this is a really, really good album. Burton does a nice job paying tribute to some blues artists with a couple of the songs, and especially with It's All Meat. Highly, highly recommend this album. Then we have Blood Rock with Blood Rock USA. From the looks of it, they are a harder rock group. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Blood Rock. I do like some of their tracks, and for the genre, that kind of harder rock, dipping into the hard blues rock kind of vein, they are pretty good for that genre. So I do pick their stuff up when I see it pretty cheap and spin it every once in a while. But this is one I wanted specifically just for the cover too. The music on it's pretty good, but the cover, of course, is just bananas. Then we have the Bobby Fuller 4 with I Fought the Law. Fantastic garage rock single from that era, one that I've got on 45 and wanted the album of for a long time. The rest of the album's kind of in the same vein as that song, dipping a little more into pop rock. They're not a real punk, kind of an early punk thing, not like the Sonics or anything like that, but a really nice garage pop rock group. And aside from the little sticker here, this is a really clean, nice copy of this. One of my favorite album covers ever. This is Chanting Jeremy of Cabbages and Kings. I just love it. Chanting Jeremy going psychedelic here, kind of a folk psych, soft psych kind of album, a concept album that is just, it sounds so strange, but it's actually really pretty good too. I really like this album. Chanting Jeremy, of course, a big folk duo. This is totally different than anything they did. I haven't heard their later stuff. I know they have another album called The Ark that's apparently supposed to be kind of along this vein as well, but I haven't heard that. But this is an album that you can find pretty cheap and in pretty nice shape. And if you come across it, don't hesitate because you think it's going to be cheesy. It might dip into that vein a little bit, especially more on side 2, but it's worth it for the opening track alone. This is my first album by The Clash, London Calling. This is, of course, a double LP. I found this in a $5 bin and was worried the albums were going to be trashed. Cover I would say is VG, it's got a little bit of edge wear and stuff, but pretty nice overall. Albums look unplayed, so I couldn't pass that up at all. And punk's not usually my thing either, but I do like the garage rock, and I kind of been getting into some of the harder stuff, so fast forward a little bit, and The Clash seemed to kind of fit that genre pretty well, so getting into the punk vein there, so gonna dip my toes into that a little bit. This is the Gentrys. It's a self-titled album. This is actually on Sun Records. The Gentrys you may remember for their big hit in the mid-'60s, Keep On Dancing, kind of a pop rock group. This is such a mixed bag that it's really hard to even compare to their other album. It dips into that pop rock vein, but there's a couple of tracks that are a little bit harder. Specifically, I Need Love, probably the hardest thing on here. It's on YouTube. I definitely recommend checking that track out. And this album is another one that's cheap. Pick it up. There's a couple, 3 or 4 tracks on it that are pretty good, that are worth the price alone. But this, of course, featured Jimmy Hart, who later went on to wrestling fame, Mouth of the South. And really pretty good album. I was happy with this pickup. Then we have the Hassles with Hour of the Wolf, featuring a Mr. William Joel, the piano man himself, doing kind of blues rock, little bits of psych leanings. You'll hear this all the time billed as like Billy Joel going psychedelic. Let's tone back the hyperbole there a little bit. It's not quite that, and it's not even very good. He, of course, was in another group called Attila that was just atrociously bad. And is it that bad? No. But it's not very good either. There's a couple tracks that are decent, but for the most part it's strange hearing Billy Joel sing and play this kind of music, but it's not that bad. You'll hear people trash it as much as they'll hype up the psychedelic part. It's an average okay kind of blues rock album. We have the original cast with 110 Soldier. This album is not very good. It's really soft pop kind of stuff, but I do like the song One Tin Soldier, and I have the Coven version, or Coven, however you want to pronounce it, but this was like $1, so for that I couldn't pass it up. I felt bad leaving it behind. So this is Wilson Pickett, Within the Midnight Hour. This one I was really excited to come across. It's a really, really nice, clean cover. The vinyl's a little rough, but it plays through really well, so I cannot complain at all. I love Wilson Pickett, and In the Midnight Hour, of course, is one of those just iconic songs that everybody and their dog has covered, but nobody has done it quite as good as Wilson Pickett. So really, really happy to finally come across a copy of this. So they have Quicksilver Messenger Service with Coming Through. Have not had a chance to spin this yet, so I do apologize. I can't talk a lot about it, but Quicksilver Messenger Service, of course, a great San Francisco sort of blues rock site group. Really, really, really good stuff on their first album and their second, Happy Trails. After that, I'm going to have to feign ignorance. I don't know a ton about their later output, but I can usually find their stuff pretty cheap, and when I do, I pick it up, and someday I'll get a chance to listen to it. You have Quiivre, their self-titled album. This is a complete blind buy for me. When I grabbed it, I noticed the cover, first of all, which is kind of a cool-looking cover with some peacock feathers or whatever. And I noticed on the back that the date was 1971, and that gets kind of close to where I kind of start cutting off. Might dip into prog, so I don't really take a lot of chances past 73, 74. And I know the VC loves their prog, but I'm not a big fan of it, so I went ahead and took a chance, brought it home, put it on the turntable, and you could call it psych influence, but it's not out-and-out psychedelic rock like Discogs likes to exclaim about stuff that's not remotely that most of the time. But this is more country rock, kind of in that vein. Quiivre apparently later went on to play a lot and do some albums with the Sutherland Brothers, who were a folk and kind of country rock group. And the song Killer Man is the longest track. It's about 8 minutes long. It's as close as they get to even being a country jam band kind of a thing. So not quite an Allman Brothers band, not quite a Creedence Clearwater or anything like that, kind of a fusion of that kind of music. So it is pretty good. It's just not psychedelic like you would expect. We have Rhinoceros with Better Times Are Coming. I love Rhinoceros's album covers. They do a really good job with their cover art. And really pretty good blues rock group as well on the Elektra label. And that's about all they are. They're blues rock. I showed the Hassles earlier. It's definitely a step or two above that album. Nothing exceptional, but really not bad either. I would put it as above average blues rock. So yeah, Rhinoceros, if you see their stuff, you can pick it up. Sam the Sham and his Feroz with their second album, appropriately titled that. Real creative there, but of course famous for Wooly Bully. This one has their other big hit, Juju Hand. Just some kind of frat rock, garage rock type stuff. I'm a sucker for it, and how can you pass up an album cover like this? Then we have Savoy Brown with A Step Further. This is blues rock. Noticing a theme here with these vinyl finds. But, if the Hassles are below average and Rhinoceros is average to above, these guys are exceptional. Really, really good blues rock outfit. And again, another group that I see their stuff a lot, and it's always cheap. When you can find good music cheap, why would you pass it up? It's the Sly and the Family Stone, There's a Riot Going On. An album along with Stand that kind of gets put on tons of lists, Rolling Stones 500 Greatest, things like that. But it's definitely worth the hype. This is a really, really good album. A perfect snapshot of what was going on at the time this album was recorded. There are stories, though, apparently of Sly kind of using his recording sessions as a way to get women to sleep with him. So, look that up on Wikipedia. It's pretty interesting stuff. Fantastic album, iconic album cover, and just can't recommend this one enough. Then we have Steelers Will, self-titled album, featuring Jerry Rafferty, of course, in their group. This has the song Stuck in the Middle with You, the song that gets just worn out on classic rock radio, but I do like it a lot, and for that reason it was like $1. I'd pay that for the song on iTunes, so why not just have the whole album? And last but not least, we have the Swinging Medallions with Double Shot of My Baby's Love, a nice kind of frat rock inspired album. A couple of tracks dip into the maybe Blue-Eyed Soul area there, but do some nice covers of Louie Louie, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, and of course the title track, which I believe, if I'm not wrong, was featured on one of the Nuggets comps. So yeah, just kind of in that line. Hang On Sloopy, of course, is on there, so you kind of know what kind of songs are on there if you know the title track. And really good stuff. This album, though, I see a lot for like the $15 to $20 range. you can find it on Discogs and eBay cheaper than that. So if you see it in a record store, it's that price. Hold out and find a $3 copy like I did. So, but that's it for the record show finds. Appreciate you guys watching and sticking around. Hopefully I'll get around to showing the rest of my July finds if I ever get a chance to do that. And I've got some VCLT that I received quite a while ago that I'm long overdue on thanking for on here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and commenting, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.